Barbie was trying so hard to be the feminist movie, but then Poor Things comes out and it crushes it to me. Even though Barbie is all pink and it's directed by our beloved director, while Poor Things is a dark, very graphic comedy made by men, Poor Things is still doing it to me. So Poor Things is a Frankenstein story told from a woman's perspective. What if we create a woman who is not constrained by societal expectations? What is she gonna act like? How much is she gonna care about being a wife and a mother? So the movie proposes that she's not gonna care about it at all. And she's basically gonna show her middle finger to the polite society. So if you think you've heard enough about Barbie already, please just skip to the next chapter. But if you wanna know what my problem with Barbie is, stick with me here. Just like Poor Things, Barbie is fantasizing about the alternative world for women. But unlike Poor Things, Barbie Land still puts so many expectations on women. You're supposed to look perfectly, act perfectly, and feel perfectly. How is that different from the real world, you might ask? Well, at least women are not controlled by men. They only put expectations on each other. If you haven't heard any criticism about Barbie, I don't know where you were for the last half a year. But aside it being a movie about the evil corporations, produced by the evil corporations, and Mattel benefiting the most from this movie because you're buying all of this shit after and before the movie, I think Barbie is just a very weak feminist statement. To me, it's just a feminist 101, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I would show it to anyone who is not familiar with the feminist and with the modern women's struggles, like a kid or a guy who is from another country or planet. Because it's very entertaining, it's funny, it's easy to digest for any unprepared viewer. And you might think that it is made for kids. It is advertised like a movie for kids, but is it? Or is it another movie that plays with our nostalgic feelings? I mean, us millennials. So we all buy pink Barbie shirts to go to movies. Then we see the AD video about Barbie movie set and all other endless YouTube videos with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling promoting the movie. Barbie took the most basic and safe points of modern feminism. Patriarchy hurts both men and women. Women are not made for childbirth only. Evil corporations are all owned by men. And Barbie sells these basic points in a pink and fuzzy packaging. So we're not thinking too deeply into women's struggles, but still feel good about ourselves. Feel good about yourself and also buy all this pink shit we made for you. That's another example of using art for selling products. So this cannot be a true feminist statement, can it? I absolutely loved Poor Things. And when I love a movie, I go and rewatch it. Call me a weirdo. But how else can you see all the complexity and all the beauty of its visuals? How can you really follow the plot? How can you see all the characters' motivations and actions? And all the 2.5 hours I was sitting there thinking, holy shit, this is me. Let me explain. Poor Things is definitely not a kid's movie. It's very graphic, it's violent, and it has a ton of sex scenes. It's a coming-of-age story of Bella, who explores the world without being constrained by societal expectations yet, just because she's not familiar with them yet and she didn't have time to adapt to them. How is that similar to my story? Just like Bella, I often find myself being too straightforward, too black and white, and a woman is not supposed to act this way. A woman should always be mysterious and playful. She has to play a game with men to be liked and accepted by the society. You can be open about your sexual desires. You always should act like sex is something you're too polite to want. Make them feel like they're so lucky to have sex with you, that they're so special. Why else would you have sex with a woman if you're not special, right? And that's how the movie illustrates it. Duncan is obsessed with the idea of taking Bella on a trip and introducing her not only to the world, but also to sex. But as soon as she finds herself interested in other men and doing other stuff with other men, he loses his shit. How dare you want someone else while I'm using you anyways? Just like Bella, I was always interested in things that are bigger than just being a wife and a mother. And I always thought that I can be as intellectual and as valuable to the society, to the humanity, just like any other man. Because it's not about the gender, it's about your brains. And throughout the movie, Bella was seeing all her communication with guys as a nice partnership that can bring her joy or disappointment, but it was never a staple piece of her life. Men would come in her life easily and effortlessly, and she never felt like she needed them. Instead, she cared way more about other humans, about poverty and other struggles. She didn't care about being liked and accepted by society and by men. And another thing why Bella is very relatable to me is I very often feel like an alien. I moved to the US 6 years ago and I still act awkwardly in social situations. Just because I have not adopted all of your behavioral rules. My body language can be off sometimes. I can say things you're not expected to say in polite society. And just do other things I'm not expected to do either. People love seeing you being raw and authentic, but just until they don't. Like Duncan, he loved how wild Bella was in bed, but when she was herself in public, he got embarrassed and mad at her. I only love real you when I like it. All other times, please act like everyone else. The bottom line is everyone wants to take advantage of a pretty young woman, also to possess her and to control her. Everyone wants you to be wild and raw and sexual, but they also will shame you after that.